In the kingdom of Veledra, high above the clouds, lived a proud race called the Varn. Their cities floated among the crystal skies. The people of Veledra were strong and brave. They had wings like birds, and they could fly faster than the wind. The queen of the Varn was a wise and powerful woman named Queen Rena. She ruled with kindness, but also with strength. For many years, the kingdom was peaceful. The Varn lived happily in their sky cities, flying from place to place and watching over their land. But one day, something terrible changed. A great beast appeared from the black mountains that rose above the clouds. No one had seen this beast before. It was huge, bigger than any Varn warrior. Its skin was covered in thick, dark scales that shone like metal. Its eyes burned like fire, and its breath was hot and full of smoke. The beast destroyed villages and farms. It broke homes and scared the people. The Varn tried to fight it, but no sword or arrow could hurt the creature. Many brave warriors flew to the mountains to stop the beast, but none returned. Fear grew in the hearts of the Varn. The beast seemed unstoppable. Queen Rena watched the destruction from her palace. She was worried for her people and her daughter, Princess Mira. Mira was young but strong and wise. The princess loved her kingdom and wanted to help, but even she was afraid of the beast. One day, Queen Rena made a bold announcement. She stood on the palace balcony and spoke to the crowd gathered below. The beast that threatens our kingdom must be stopped, she said in a clear voice. Whoever can slay the beast will earn a great reward. They will marry my daughter, Princess Mira, and help rule Veledra by my side. The crowd was silent. The promise was great, but so was the danger. Many whispered among themselves. No one believed the beast could be defeated. But still, the queen's words gave hope. Some warriors stepped forward, proud and confident. They said they would face the beast and bring peace. Among the crowd was a stranger. He did not look like a Varn. He was smaller and had no wings. His skin was soft and pale compared to the shining scales of the Varn. His name was Tom. He came from a faraway world called Earth. Tom was a human. Tom had heard about the beast and the queen's challenge. He did not fear the creature. He knew he was different, but he believed that being different could be a strength. While the Varn relied on their wings and weapons, Tom relied on his mind and his courage. Without hesitation, Tom stepped forward and told the queen, "I will face the beast." The crowd gasped. Some laughed. "How can a human fight the beast?" they whispered. "He has no wings. He is weak." Queen Rena looked at Tom carefully. She saw no fear in his eyes. She saw calm and a quiet strength. Though she was unsure, she accepted his promise. Tom was given simple supplies. He did not ask for a sword or armor. Instead, he took a small pack with tools and some food. The Varn watched him closely as he left the palace, heading toward the dark mountains. As Tom walked, he thought about the stories he had heard about the beast. He thought about the mountains, the wind, and the stars above. He knew he had to be smart and careful. He was not the strongest, but he would use his mind to find a way. The journey to the mountains was hard. The air grew cold and thin. The sky became dark with clouds and smoke. Tom climbed over sharp rocks and deep crevices. He used ropes to pull himself up steep walls. Every step was difficult, but he did not stop. At night, Tom rested under the stars. He looked at the moon and thought of home. He thought of his family and the life he had left behind. He missed Earth, but he knew this was important. He was not just fighting for himself, but for the people of Veledra. As he climbed higher, he began to hear strange sounds. Deep growls echoed through the mountains. The ground shook with heavy footsteps. Tom stayed quiet. He watched the shadows move. One evening, Tom found the remains of a camp. Broken weapons and shattered shields lay on the ground. He understood the danger was real. The warriors who had fought before him were brave, but not wise enough. He decided to change his plan. Instead of rushing to find the beast, Tom began to study the area. He marked safe paths and watched for signs of the creature's movements. He set small traps, not to hurt, but to learn how the beast would react. Tom found a quiet cave where he could rest safely. from there. He could watch the mountain valley below. He saw large footprints, deep and wide. He saw smoke rise from the caves where the beasts might live. One morning, as the sun rose over the peaks, Tom heard a loud roar. The beast had awakened. Tom felt no fear. He stood tall and prepared himself. Far below, in the city of Villedra, Princess Mira looked through a large glass window. She saw the small figure climbing the mountain. She felt a strange hope. Perhaps this human was different from the rest. Mira whispered to herself, "Be careful, stranger. You carry more than a sword. You carry our hope." Tom did not have a sword, but he had something stronger. He had courage, patience, and the will to understand the beast. The mountain waited. The beast waited. The story of Villedra was about to change. After Tom promised the queen he would face the beast, the people of Villedra watched him closely. Many thought it was a foolish choice, a human without wings, without great strength. Going to fight a monster that had defeated the best Varn warriors? It seemed impossible. But Tom was calm. He did not show fear or doubt. He moved with quiet confidence. He knew his strength was not the same as theirs, but he believed he could succeed by using his mind and patience. Before Tom left the palace to begin his journey, Princess Mira asked to meet him. She was curious about the human who dared to face the beast. When Tom entered the royal chamber, Mira watched him carefully. He looked simple, but his eyes showed kindness and sharpness. "Why do you want to fight the beast?" Mira asked gently. "You could turn back. No one expects a human to win." Tom smiled softly. "I come from a world where people face many dangers without great power. We learn to think, to build tools, and to understand our enemies. I want to see if that can help here." Mira nodded. She liked how he spoke honestly. "The beast has destroyed many homes. It is dangerous and strong. But some say it is angry because it has been disturbed. What do you believe?" Tom looked toward the window, where the black mountain stood tall. "I want to find out. Maybe the beast is not just a monster. Maybe it has a reason." Mira felt a new hope. She asked the queen if she could watch Tom's journey from the palace. The queen agreed but warned her daughter to be careful with hope. That night, Tom prepared to leave. He did not want the queen's guards to follow him. He asked to go alone. The queen was surprised but allowed it. Tom believed he needed silence and freedom to understand the beast. As Tom walked away from the palace, Mira watched him from her tower. She wondered what kind of person he really was. He did not fight like a warrior. He did not shout or boast. He moved quietly, but his steps were strong. Tom's journey to the mountains was hard and slow. The air grew colder, and the wind was sharp. But Tom paid attention to everything: the way the wind blew, the sounds of the earth, the shapes of the rocks. He studied the paths that the fallen warriors had taken before him. One day, Tom found a small village ruined by the beast. The people had fled, leaving behind broken tools and empty homes. Tom felt sadness for the loss, but he did not feel hate for the beast. He knew there was more to the story. He spent the night in the village and looked at the stars. He thought about his own home, where people also lived with danger but found ways to survive. He believed the same was possible here. On the way up the mountain, Tom met a small Varn boy named Kian. Kian had followed Tom secretly, hoping to learn how the human would fight. The boy was brave but scared. Tom smiled when he saw Kian hiding behind a rock. "Come, don't be afraid," he said kindly. "If you want, you can help me." Kian nodded and stepped forward. He told Tom stories of the beast's attacks and the warriors who had tried and failed. Tom listened carefully. He asked questions about the beast's habits, where it slept, and what it ate. Together, they planned. Tom taught Kian how to watch and wait, to use patience instead of fighting right away. Kian was amazed. "You do not fight with swords," he said. "You fight with your mind." Tom laughed. "Sometimes the mind is stronger than the sword." They climbed higher, closer to the beast's home. Tom found places where the ground was scorched and trees were burned. He saw large footprints that showed the beast's path. He made careful notes and drew maps. At night, they made small fires, careful not to attract the beast's attention. Kian asked many questions about Earth and the stars. Tom told stories about his world and how humans learn to work together. As they reached the edge of the beast's territory, Tom stopped. He knew the next steps would be dangerous. He told Kian to wait behind the rocks and watch. If you see trouble, run back to the palace and tell Princess Mira what you learned. Kian promised but did not want to leave. He admired Tom's calm and steady heart. That night, Tom found a hidden cave where he could watch the beast from a distance. The cave was dark and cold, but it gave him a good view of the valley below. Suddenly, a loud roar broke the silence. The beast was awake. Tom held his breath. He watched as the giant creature moved slowly through the valley. The beast's red eyes searched the land. It did not rush or attack. It moved carefully, as if guarding something. Tom realized the beast was not just angry or wild. It was protecting something important. The next day, Tom and Kian returned to the palace. They told Princess Mira about the beast's behavior. Mira listened with wide eyes. "Maybe the beast is not our enemy," she said quietly. "Maybe we can find a way to live without fighting." Tom agreed. "We must understand it better before we try to stop it." Queen Rena was not sure. Many in the court wanted the beast gone by force, but Mira believed in Tom's idea. She asked her father's advisors to prepare peaceful tools instead of weapons. Tom and Kian prepared to go back to the mountain. This time, Tom was not going to fight with a sword. He was going to use his mind and patience to solve the problem. Before they left, Mira gave Tom a small crystal. "This will help you see far," she said. "Use it wisely." Tom smiled and thanked her. He knew the road ahead was hard, but now he was not alone. The princess believed in him. As Tom climbed again toward the dark mountains, he felt anew strength inside. It was not the strength of wings or weapons. It was the strength of hope and understanding. Tom and Kian stood at the edge of the dark mountains. The air was cold and sharp. Jagged rocks rose like giant teeth from the earth. The black peaks seemed to touch the gray clouds above. The ground shook lightly beneath their feet, a quiet warning. From the beast that lived within, Tom looked up at the mountain. He did not feel fear. He felt calm and ready. He checked his small pack. Inside were a few tools he had made: ropes, hooks, a small device that could send signals, and some food to last several days. He carried no sword or weapon. His strength was in his mind. Kian looked up nervously. "The mountain is high, and the beast is strong," he said. "Are you sure this will work?" Tom smiled gently. "I did not plan to fight the beast like the others did. I will watch, learn, and use what I find." Kian nodded but stayed close. He wanted to help. The climb was harder than anything Tom had done before. The rocks were sharp, and the paths were narrow. Strong winds blew, making it difficult to keep balance. Sometimes, loose stones slid down, crashing loudly on the rocks below. Tom moved carefully. He tested every step before putting his weight down. He used ropes to help climb steep walls and hooks to hold onto cracks. He marked the safe paths with small piles of stones, so they could find their way back. At night, they camped in small caves. The stars shone bright above the mountain peaks. Tom used the crystal Mira had given him to look far across the valley. He watched for signs of the beast. Kian sat beside the fire, his eyes wide with both fear and hope. "Do you think the beast will attack us?" he asked. Tom shook his head. "If we hurry and make noise, maybe. But if we move slowly and quietly, we can learn more." Each day, Tom studied the mountain carefully. He watched how the wind moved through the rocks. He listened to the sounds of the earth, the cracking of stones, the calls of birds, and sometimes the deep, low growls from far away. One morning, they found fresh footprints in the soft earth. The prints were huge, wider than any Varn's foot, and very deep. Tom knelt and studied them. He followed the trail, careful not to make noise. The footprints led to a narrow canyon between two tall cliffs. The walls were covered with strange, shiny crystals that glowed faintly in the sunlight. Tom was amazed. He touched one carefully and felt a small warmth. "This place is special," Tom said. "The beast lives near something important." Kian looked up at the cliffs. "Maybe it's home." Tom nodded. We must be careful. As they moved through the canyon, Tom noticed small traps left by the warriors who had come before. Broken nets and spears lay tangled among the rocks. He shook his head. They did not understand the beast, he said. They tried to fight with force, but the beast is stronger than any weapon. Tom took out a small notebook and wrote down notes about the traps and the layout of the canyon. He thought about how to use this knowledge. Suddenly, a loud roar echoed through the mountain. The ground shook beneath them. Kian gasped and hid behind a rock. Tom held up his hand. Stay calm, he said. That is the beast. The creature appeared at the edge of the canyon. It was huge and covered in dark, shining scales. Its eyes were like burning embers, and smoke rose from its nostrils. But the beast did not look angry. It looked tired and watchful. Tom did not move. He watched how the beast breathed deeply, how it paused to listen to the mountain. The creature moved slowly, as if it was guarding something hidden. Kian whispered. It is not rushing to attack. Tom nodded. It is protecting its home. We must find out what is so important. That night, Tom and Kian stayed hidden in a cave near the canyon. Tom made a small device that could send soft sounds. He hoped it might calm the beast or help him understand its behavior. They waited quietly. The beast did not come close, but the growls echoed all night. The next morning, Tom and Kian explored a small valley near the mountain. There, they found strange shapes hidden among the rocks, crystals, but shaped like eggs. Tom's heart beat faster. The beast is a mother, he said quietly. It is protecting its nest. Kian looked surprised. That explains why it attacks the villages. The towns are too close. Tom nodded. We must find a way to protect both the beast and the people. They returned to the palace to tell Princess Mira and the queen what they had learned. The queen was surprised and silent for a long time. Many in her court were angry. They wanted the beast dead. But Mira believed Tom's words. If the beast is a mother protecting her eggs, then it is not a monster. It is a living creature. Like us. The queen finally spoke. If what you say is true, then we must find a way to live in peace. Tom smiled. I will try. I will find a way to stop the fighting without more blood. The queen gave Tom permission to continue his mission. This time, he would go prepared to understand the beast, not just to fight it. Before leaving, Mira gave Tom the crystal again. This will help you see far and guide you back, she said. Be safe. Tom thanked her and promised to return as he climbed again toward the Black Mountains. Tom felt hope. He was not alone. The princess and some of the people believed. In a new way, the mountain was still dark and dangerous. The beast was still strong. But now, Tom had a plan. He would face the beast not as an enemy, but as a friend who wanted to understand. The Black Mountain stood tall and cold under the pale sky. Tom climbed carefully, every step slow and thoughtful. He carried his small pack filled with tools and the crystal gift from Princess Mira. Kian followed close behind, his eyes wide, with both fear and excitement. The air was thin and sharp, and the wind whispered strange sounds through the jagged rocks. Tom knew the beast was near. The soft ground showed deep footprints, fresh and wide. They were signs of a giant creature that moved with power and care. As they moved deeper into the mountain valley, Tom stopped. He held up his hand for Kian to wait. From a safe hiding place behind a large boulder, Tom looked out across a rocky clearing. His heart beat fast. There, in the open space, stood the beast. It was enormous, larger than any creature Tom had ever seen. Its dark scales covered its body like armor, and its breath came out in heavy smoke. The beast's eyes glowed red, but they did not seem angry. Instead, they looked tired and watchful. Tom held his breath and did not move. He wanted the beast to see that he meant no harm. The beast looked around slowly. It sniffed the air and roared a low, deep sound. The ground shook beneath its feet. Suddenly, the beast charged toward a narrow canyon. Tom quickly moved behind a large rock to stay safe. He watched the creature carefully, noticing how it breathed and how it moved. The beast was strong and fast, but it did not attack wildly. It seemed to be guarding something, moving with purpose and care. Tom remembered what he had seen before, the strange crystal eggs hidden in the valley. The beast was a mother, protecting her nest. Tom whispered to Kian, "The beast is not a monster. It is protecting its family." Kian nodded, his eyes wide. "But how do we stop the attacks on the villages?" Tom thought hard. He knew that fighting the beast with swords would only bring more pain. He needed a better plan. Over the next few days, Tom watched the beast from a distance. He learned its habits. The beast rested during the day near its nest and hunted at night in the mountain forests. Tom used his tools to send soft sounds and signals, hoping to communicate. The beast did not respond at first, but one evening, as the sun set behind the mountains, Tom saw something surprising. The beast stopped and listened to the soft sounds Tom sent from his device. It cocked its head, curious. Tom's heart filled with hope. Maybe the beast could understand. One night, while watching from a cave, Tom noticed something else. The beast had a deep wound on its side. The scales were broken, and the skin underneath was raw and red. The beast moved slowly and carefully, as if in pain. Tom realized the warriors who had attacked the beast before had hurt it badly. But the beast had survived. Kian looked worried. "If the beast is hurt, why does it attack the villages?" Tom answered, "Because it is afraid and in pain. It wants to protect its family, but it also wants to stay safe." Tom made a new plan. He would try to heal the beast's wound. He hoped that if the beast was not in pain, it would stop attacking. Using his small tools, Tom prepared a healing mixture from plants he found near the mountain. He packed the mixture carefully and waited for the right moment. One morning, Tom followed the beast to its nest. The giant creature lay near the crystal eggs, breathing slowly. Tom moved quietly and carefully. He could see the wounded side clearly. With slow and gentle movements, Tom approached the beast. He spoke softly in a calm voice. The beast looked up but did not move. Tom opened his pack and showed the healing mixture. Slowly, he touched the beast's wound and applied the mixture. The beast flinched but did not attack. Tom stayed still and calm. After a few moments, the beast closed its eyes and relaxed. Tom stepped back and watched. The beast breathed deeply, and the pain seemed to ease. The red wound began to heal. Kian watched from behind a rock, amazed. "You did it," he whispered. Tom smiled softly. "This is only the beginning. If the beast heals, it might stop fighting." That night, Tom and Kian returned to the palace to tell Princess Mira what had happened. Mira was overjoyed. She said, "You have done what no one else could. You have shown the beast kindness." The queen listened and nodded. She began to believe that the way to peace was not through battle but through understanding. Tom prepared to return to the mountains. This time, he wanted to build a way for humans and the beast to live together safely. As Tom climbed again, the crystal in his pack glowed softly. The mountain was still dangerous, and the beast was still strong. But hope had returned. After healing the beast's wound, Tom felt a new sense of hope. He believed the creature's anger would ease if the people of Villedra could understand it better. But he also knew this would not be easy. Many still feared the beast, and some wanted it destroyed at all costs. Tom returned to the mountain with Kian. Together, they wanted to learn more about the beast's home and its life. The mountain was still dark and dangerous, but now Tom moved with more confidence. They followed the beast's path carefully. As they walked, Tom noticed signs of life hidden in the rocks. Small plants grew near warm springs. Strange crystals glowed faintly, casting soft light in the dark caves. The mountain was alive in its own way. One day, as they moved closer to the beast's nest, Tom found something unexpected. Near a pile of rocks, half buried in dirt, lay broken tools and strange objects. Some looked like weapons, others like machines. Tom studied them carefully. "These belong to the Varn," he said. "They tried to fight here before." Kian looked worried. "They were brave but careless." Tom nodded. "Yes." They did not understand the mountain or the beast. That night, Tom and Kian camped near the cave where the beast kept her eggs. The eggs were large and made of glowing crystal. Tom watched the mother beast gently guard them, never far away. As Tom studied the eggs, He realized how much the beast cared for them. It was not just a creature of destruction. It was a mother protecting her family. Suddenly, a loud roar broke the silence. The beast was near, watching. Tom stayed calm and slowly showed the crystal eggs to Kian. "We must protect these eggs," Tom said. "If the people knew, they might stop attacking." The next day, Tom sent a message to Queen Rena using his signal device. He described what he had found: the wounded mother, the crystal eggs, and the mountain's hidden life. The queen read the message carefully. She gathered her council to discuss. Many were angry. They said the beast was a danger that could not be trusted. But some, like Princess Mira, argued for peace. The beast is a living creature. It protects its family just like we protect ours. The queen made a difficult choice. She allowed Tom to speak at the royal court. When Tom stood before the council and the people of Veledra, he told them the truth. He spoke simply and clearly. The beast is not a monster. It is a mother protecting her young. The mountain is its home. If we want peace, we must respect the beast and its family. We can build a new path, one of understanding. Many in the court were silent. Some looked angry, but others listened. Princess Mira stepped forward. "Tom's words give us hope. Let us find a way to live without war." The queen nodded slowly. "I will trust Tom's wisdom. But we must be careful." Tom smiled. He knew the road ahead would be hard, but the first step was made. Back at the mountain, Tom and Kian prepared to work with the Varn builders and farmers. They planned to move the villages farther from the beast's home and to build towers that could warn of danger. Together, humans and Varn worked side by side. They cleared paths and built new homes. The mountain seemed less dark with their presence. One morning, as Tom watched from a hilltop, the beast appeared near the edge of its nest. It looked toward the new village far below. For a moment, the red eyes softened. The creature did not roar or attack. Tom knew this was a sign. The beast was learning to trust. Kian smiled beside him. "You brought peace to the mountain." Tom looked out over the valley. It was never about fighting. It was about understanding. In the days that followed, the Varn and humans worked to protect both their people and the beast. They shared stories and learned from one another. Princess Mira visited often. She and Tom spoke about a future where strength came from kindness and wisdom. The Black Mountains were no longer a place of fear. They were a place of hope. The news of Tom's discoveries spread quickly through Veledra. Some people were surprised. Others were angry. Many could not believe that the beast was a mother protecting her eggs. For years, they had feared it as a monster. Queen Rena called for a great meeting in the palace hall. The room was filled with leaders, warriors, and citizens. All waited to hear what the queen would decide. The air was thick with tension. Princess Mira stood quietly beside her mother. She had grown to trust Tom and believed in his vision of peace. Many others in the crowd looked unsure. Tom was invited to speak before the queen and her court. He stepped forward calmly. His eyes met the eyes of the queen, then moved around the room. "I came to Veledra as a stranger," he began. "I was small and without wings. I did not have great strength, but I had a heart that wanted to understand. The beast is not our enemy. It protects its family. If we fight it, we only bring more pain." A murmur spread through the crowd. Some whispered in agreement. Others shook their heads. One of the queen's advisors, a tall Varn with silver wings, stood up. "The beast has destroyed our villages and killed many brave warriors. How can we trust a creature that brings such danger?" Tom nodded. "I understand your fear, but I have seen the beast's pain. It is wounded and scared. If we heal the wound between us, we can live in peace." The queen looked at Tom, then at the people. "This choice is not easy. We promised my daughter's hand to whoever would slay the beast. But now, we learn that strength is more than power. It is wisdom and kindness." Princess Mira stepped forward. "Tom has shown courage greater than any warrior. He faced the beast without fear. He chose to understand instead of fight. I asked the court to accept him as my future partner." There was silence. Then a slow clap began from the people who believed in Mira's words. The queen smiled gently. I keep my promise, she said. Tom shall marry my daughter. Together, they will lead Villedra into a new age. Tom bowed respectfully. He did not expect this honor, but he accepted it with humility. That night, celebrations filled the Sky Cities. People cheered not just for the end of the beast's threat, but for a new hope in their kingdom. But not all were happy. Some elders whispered of danger and mistrust. They feared change and wanted the old ways of strength and battle. Tom and Mira knew they faced challenges ahead. The peace they sought required patience and care. Together, they returned to the mountain. With the help of the Varn builders and human engineers, they built towers to watch over the valley. These towers could send signals of warning and keep the villages safe. They also created paths that led round the beast's home, giving it space and respect. Tom and Mira worked side by side, learning from each other's worlds. Tom taught the Varn how to build tools and machines. Mira showed Tom the ways of the sky and the importance of trust. The beast watched quietly from the cliffs. It no longer roared in anger. Its eyes held a calm peace. One evening, Tom and Mira stood on a hill, overlooking the valley. The sun set behind the mountains, painting the sky with gold and purple. Mira smiled. The kingdom is changing. We are changing. Tom took her hand gently. This is just the beginning. Together, we will protect Villedra and its people. The Black Mountains no longer felt dark and frightening. They were a symbol of strength born from understanding. And far away, deep in the shadows, the beast rested peacefully, guarding its family without fear. The days passed, and the kingdom of Villedra began to change in many ways. Tom and Princess Mira worked closely together. Their partnership was not just about ruling. It was about building a future where humans and Varn lived in harmony. The first task was to make the kingdom safe for everyone: the people, the beast, and the land. With the help of Varn builders and human engineers, they created new villages far from the Black Mountains. The old towns that had once been near the beast's home were moved. New roads and watchtowers were built to give early warning if danger ever returned. Tom taught the Varn how to use machines that could help in their daily work. They built tools to carry heavy loads and devices to help farmers grow food in the rocky soil. The Varn learned quickly. They were proud and eager to use these new ideas. Princess Mira spent time visiting the new villages. She listened to her people's hopes and fears. She told stories of courage and kindness. Her voice gave strength to those who worried about the future. At the same time, Tom continued to watch the Black Mountains. He often climbed the lower slopes to check on the beast. The creature had grown calm and peaceful. It no longer roared or attacked. Sometimes, it could be seen resting near its nest of glowing crystal eggs. One day, as Tom sat quietly on a rock near the mountain's edge, the beast appeared before him. It did not move quickly or with anger. Instead, it watched Tom with steady eyes. Tom spoke softly. "I'm your friend," he said. "We want to live in peace." The beast lowered its head slowly. It was a sign of trust. Tom smiled and reached out his hand, but did not touch. The beast did not move closer, but it stayed calm. This moment was the start of a new friendship. Tom understood that trust took time, but it was possible. Back in the palace, Queen Rena had stepped down from the throne. She believed it was time for the new generation to lead. Princess Mira became queen, and Tom stood by her side as her partner and advisor. Together, they made decisions that brought peace and growth to Villedra. They welcomed other worlds and shared their knowledge. Humans and Varn worked together to explore the stars, learning from each other's strengths. At the royal court, Tom and Mira spoke often about the lessons learned from the beast. Strength was not just in fighting, but in understanding and kindness. The people began to see this truth. The old fears slowly faded. The Black Mountains were no longer places of danger, but places of beauty and life. The glowing crystals in the caves became a symbol of hope. One evening, as the twin moons rose in the sky, Tom and Mira stood on the balcony of the palace. The lights of the floating cities shone bright below. Mira took Tom's hand. "We have come far," she said, "but there is still much to do." Tom nodded. Together, We will face whatever comes. We are stronger because we stand united. Their story became a legend told for generations. A story of a human who stepped forward without fear, who saw beyond the beast's anger, and who showed that courage and kindness could change the world. The kingdom of Villager grew strong and wise. The skies were full of flying ships, and the stars were within reach. But the greatest strength was the heart of its people, united and hopeful. And far away, deep in the Black Mountains, the beast rested peacefully, watching over its family and the new world it had helped create.